Good day, brothers and sisters in Christ. Welcome to our Sunday reflection for the 25th Sunday of the year C. The theme of our reflection is Stewards of God's Resources. For the children of this world are more prudent in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. Luke chapter 16, verse 8. LeBron James will undoubtedly be remembered as one of the greatest in basketball history. His statistics are consistent and unimaginable, despite competing in a sport that younger players usually dominate. In 2018, his manager, Miff Carter, revealed one of the reasons for his success in an interview with NBA reporter Alex Kennedy. He spends about $1.5 million a year on his body. Let that number sink in for a second. $1.5 million annually on training, recovery, and diet. In Kennedy's words, he invests in his body so he can still dominate at 33 years old. Top athletes typically don't divulge how much money they spend on their bodies and their health. And LeBron's expenses may not be as outlandish in comparison to some of them. Whichever way we may consider it, LeBron's career earnings were recently estimated at over $1.2 billion thanks to his investment. The point is that LeBron invests so much on his body because it has the most outstanding value for him. Our readings today ask us a thought-provoking question. What holds the most important value in your life? For the merchants in the first reading, it is wealth, and they will spend even the Sabbath, instead of reflecting on their covenant with God, to devise different means of swindling the poor. For the dishonest steward in the gospel, it is a comfortable life. So he misappropriated his master's possession to live a good life. And when he was discovered, he used the period of transition to invest in a long-term future that guarantees his comfort. On the contrary, the most critical value for St. Paul is intercessory prayer, especially for those in authority, so that they may govern wisely. Our gospel reading is controversial. It seems that Jesus is praising an immoral act. However, he's only praising the steward's practical wisdom, presenting an evil man's good example. We should learn to invest in our future with the resources we have right now, like the steward. Why do we find it difficult to invest in our spiritual future? We still have not realized that the spiritual life is the most valuable part of our existence and often fail to give it the attention it deserves. As a result, we do not live intentionally. Instead, we go through our days as if we are surfing television channels. Have you ever spent over 1 hour switching from one channel to another, only to realize you haven't watched anything meaningful? Some of us live in that way. We drift from one activity to the next, wondering why we feel unfulfilled. The spiritual life is our anchor and the only way to find true fulfillment. Failing to invest enough in our spiritual lives is the core reason for our worry. Henry Nouwen is quick to observe, and I quote, "When we worry, we have our hearts in the wrong place." Jesus asks us to move our hearts to the center, where all things fall into place. His words are an urgent call to make the life of God's Spirit our priority, so that we can see better what is at stake. A heart set on the Father's kingdom is also a heart set on the spiritual life. To set our hearts on the kingdom, therefore, means to make the life of the Spirit within and among us the center of all we think, say or do. End of quote. For a Christian, the most critical thing should be the spiritual life. When we recognize it as the most valuable thing in our lives, then we can invest our time, talent, and treasure to ensure that we grow spiritually as disciples of Jesus. If I ask you, do you believe in God? You may automatically answer yes before I complete the question. But what is the evidence? If you want to know the most valuable thing in your life and whether you believe in God or not, check your credit card statement. Review the use of your time and your talent. How much is your donation to the church or to charity? How many hours do you spend in prayer? Where do you volunteer your time? LeBron James invests $1.5 million annually in his body because he values it so much. What do you invest your resources in? So this week I invite you to do the following. Reflect on your stewardship. How do you contribute your time, resources, and talents to your parish and preferred charities? Ask for the grace to increase your efforts. Have a blessed week.